Oh, hello. Hello, hello.
Hi, Robin.
Hello, yeah, hello, how are you doing?
Good. Good. Nice to meet you. I'm Neeraja.
Hi,
I'm
how
well.
are you doing?
Thank you.
Yeah, nice to meet you finally. Thank you for joining me today. Appreciate it.
No, I appreciate my films being selected. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, two films are lovely. Because one thing I'm going to start with really is, I really like both films, short, sweet, and similar themes, really. This kind
Good.
of male-female dynamic from a female perspective, but completely visually different. I mean, let's start with that. What is that your thing? Is that what you're looking to do? Like male, female, and then why these two completely different set of imagery?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, I made both films in the same year, back to back, and they both released on the same date, coincidentally, because they were both being funded by these two different bodies. One was Chanel and the Busan Film Festival, which was Lusthouse, and
Mm.
the other one was funded by an LA production company that focuses on like NFTs. And they were having their big animation festival on October 10th at the same time that the Busan Film Festival were screening Lusthouse. So both of them like were born into the world at the same time and were made around in the same. I was so stressed. Like I can't even describe how stressed I was doing two films. Um, and also in like coordinating with like I was in Korea when I was making the film, obviously. So I'd have to coordinate with the team in the UK and then the team in LA. And it was just yeah. But going back to your question, sorry, I jumped on
Mm.
a tangent
No, no,
here.
no, because I was thinking about that. You mean Korea for one, and then even the settings are completely different. The languages are completely different. So it does lead into the question, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think I had decided in 2023 that I wanted to steer into live action. And 2024 was the year that I did that. I had a previous experience with animation, so I was well known within the animation space. I made a lot of animated films, and something that I never really got the chance to explore was rom-coms. I have like a deep interest in um, uh, romantic comedies. But then I also noticed that I think films that came out early 2024, I would see that they were portrayed as feminist or that they were within a female lens or a female gaze, but it wasn't so. Like, for example, I love Yorgos Lanthimos's recent film, Poor
Mm.
Things, but I don't think it's shot within the female gaze. I think there are a lot of elements that have been catered to um, the male view of a woman's sexuality. And so I kind of want to reclaim that. And when I was telling my own stories, I was like, oh, I wanted to view it from this perspective and see, um, yeah, and see how that would play out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So your inspirations, I mean, obviously Splash is an obvious one. You must have seen Splash from the 80s, but it did remind me of those 80s, especially the midriff. It reminded me of those um like quirky feature comedies of the 80s almost.
Oh, really?
Do you know what I mean? Like not so much like Short Circuit, but with these little creatures and you eventually have to let them go. I mean, you can even argue E.T. Those type of films where you've got this, obviously it's animated, but it's a creature that's not from this live action world. It
Yeah.
reminded me of that, and that's a compliment. There's
Oh,
even down to the Merman in Rust House, which I've thought of Splash, or even Shape of Water, which is more recently. But
yeah, yeah. Shape of Water is a great film. Yeah.
so, are you into those 80s films and comedies, or is that have you not heard that before?
So I haven't heard of Splash before, but I
Oh,
was thinking more along the lines of, the 2000s, like Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging, for example. That's like
yeah.
those kind of 2000s, Freaky Friday, and like I could keep going. Like, I don't think we see a lot of that or good quality rom-coms these days. And so I was like, I think there are elements that I drew from that, but I need to check out Splash because I've never seen it. But
Yeah, it's Ron Howard. It's Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah, and he falls in love with a mermaid.
right,
But yeah,
okay.
You watch that and you'll be like, oh, and you'll think
Yeah.
they've ripped you off. But yeah,
And
yeah. I
that's
mean,
the other
check it
thing.
out. Yeah, it's
I'll
an old
check it out.
film.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the other thing I think. I don't see a lot of depictions of mermen. See a lot of
Mm.
mermaids. And I was like, oh, how about I flip that on the head and just kind of explore that? Because that would be something that I would be interested in seeing, you know?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
like that you got in both films. You sort of stepped out reality a little bit, even to the extent with the texting that
Mhm.
he didn't understand, but he had a shell, which is like same. It does the same thing, but it's from a different, almost like a fantasy world, an
Yeah,
old, the shell thing. And then with the first one, you had the obviously the lint
yeah.
as well, which so yeah, I really love that because I watched one and I watched the other, and I said to my partner, I watched this, I said, you can see the thematic similarities already, even though completely different worlds.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, he had a shell phone, if I may add.
A shell fan. Yeah, I just got that right.
Um, yeah, I think so I started with midriff. I got the funding for midriff and then I was working on it. And midway through midriff, I got the funding from Chanel and the Busan Film Festival. And so um, I made this film, Lust House in Korea. So they specifically had a program where they select Asian filmmakers, up and coming rising quote unquote stars to come to Busan and shoot a short film. So everything was like packaged really nicely. So I got the opportunity to go do that once in a lifetime opportunity because as someone who grew up with like K-dramas, K-pop music and stuff like that, I never really thought I could direct my own piece of Korean
Yeah,
media, especially as I'm Indian. So that I don't really have a connection with Korea in that sense. Like my
yeah,
roots aren't from Korea. So this was like almost heaven sent, I would say, that a program like this existed and that I got the opportunity to go do it. But yeah, so when I got that opportunity, they told me I had 1 week to come up with the script. And so as I was already in the middle of midriff, my thoughts were along that pattern. Like it was thinking along those lines. And then I was like, okay, I kind of want to do something similar, something wild, something funny about female sexuality. But I need to have like a strong like woman-centric character at the middle of it. And then I was just yeah, just throwing around, bouncing around ideas, brainstorming. I only had like a limited amount of time to come up with something. And they were like, once you submit the script, once you submit the title, we're not changing it. That's what we're going to do. And then I had a lot of apprehension about submitting something that was obviously sexual in nature
Mhm.
to Koreans, because I obviously they're a bit more conservative and like I didn't know how it would be taken. And I also, but also as I grew up with Korean media, I knew specific things about the city of Busan where this would take place. Like, for example, the penis fish, that is an actual thing that they have raw in
Wow.
Korea. And it's supposed to enhance sexual vigor or something. So I used that in the story. I used the whole I think I made a joke about it. Like Netflix and chill is, do you want to have some ramen? That's what they say in
Yeah,
Korea.
yeah,
And so I used a lot of elements of Korean culture because I was like, if I was going to get this opportunity, I have to make sure that a Korean audience could watch it and feel like, oh, like she knows the la land, she knows what she's talking about. So
yeah,
yeah, and then obviously with midriff, the characters are from London, so a lot of London lingo,
yeah.
a lot of the dialogue between the two needs to be rooted in the cultures. So yeah, I did a lot of research, observing people. I'm not British, as you can probably tell.
Mhm.
So learning a lot about English culture and like Korean culture and just like absorbing basically.
Yeah,
But it
yeah,
was fun.
absolutely. I mean, I suppose I'll ask on midriff um the animation because you've got animation background, but how difficult or easy was it for you to integrate the two and have the animation with live action? I know we see that a lot in film now anyway, but it's still relatively rare thing to see them combined. So for you with the animation background, how was the live action the tricky bit for you? Was the animation the tricky bit? And how did you integrate them?
Good question. Yeah, I mean, I had never had prior experience mixing the two worlds. So I was like, if I was going to make this entry into live action, I want to try and kind of meld the two and then go into live action fully. And so, and this story especially was I like it's about Lint. It's about a little Lint character. So of course it had to be animation.
Mm.
Um, and so I worked with this amazing VFX production company with this VFX producer called Johan, and he pretty much like um, helped me develop the character, the build, and like integrate it with like the girl's belly and
Yeah.
like all the real life settings. And so it was a huge learning curve. And I don't know if you know what a mocap suit is, motion capture.
Oh yeah, 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 I do, yeah.
Okay, so you have to wear the suit. So, because obviously it's a small budget film, I had to wear a suit and be lit. So I had to do all the performances, jump on the candle, and like it was like there's like a headgear that comes and like it captures all like points in your body and then kind of um, translates that into a 3D environment. And it wasn't perfect. We had like specific 3D animators to come in and like perfect the movements because obviously my body proportions and then Lint's body is very, very different. So we had
Yeah.
to account for all of that. So it was, yeah, it was very interesting. But I would say the live action part was more scarier for me
Mm.
because uh, one, having not worked with actors in that capacity, and two, especially because it's like there's intimacy involved. We got an intimacy coordinator on board because I was like, I think this is a little out of my depth. I would love to have somebody who has more control over the scene so I could just talk to the intimacy coordinator about what I wanted and he could choreograph what was going
Yeah.
to happen. And then just the fact that animation, like it, you have time. It's slow paced in the sense of if you make a mistake or if you want to change your mind later about a particular thing, you can just go in and like change it, either if you're drawing or if you're doing 3D. But with live action, once you've shot it, it's there. You can't change it. At least up until now, AI has come into
Mm.
the picture. But before AI, like if it's there, that's what you shoot, that's what you have. If the characters have this performance, that is what you've agreed to, you can't change it. And so it almost felt like everything was high pressure in the on the shoot days. And both of the films were shot over one day, both of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So it was
impressive.
quite stressful. Yeah. And we were like sticking to the rules of like 11-hour days, 1 hour mandatory lunch. So even if the crew had finished lunch in 30 minutes, we were waiting the rest of the 30 minutes to get back onto the set.
Gosh.
So yeah.
So would you argue it's there's more control over you with animation of your own creativity, but with humans, they're a little bit more unpredictable. You need to work a bit harder, perhaps. You know, there is something in that, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
So I mean, I suppose this is open to the interpretation, but uh, what what is midriff about? What is lint? Is it baggage? Is it the person's insecurity? Because she obviously lets it go at the end. Is it any of those things, or is it something you would rather the audience decide what lint represents, or does it not represent anything? Is it just a creature feature?
Just to provide some context, so the production company that funded that project, like I said, it's an NFT company.
Mm.
So the brief was you had to find one of the NFT. So non-fungible tokens, it was a big thing back in like 2020, and it's still going these days. But basically, their NFTs are objects, but with glasses on them. So perhaps like a bottle with glasses or a bag with glasses, a plant with glasses, or and then there's a lint with glasses. There's multiples. And so I
Okay.
saw this lint character and I was like, he looks so sad. Like, why? Where does he live? I want to know the origins of Lint. Um, so I was like, this is the character that I'm going to make a story about. And so when I developed that character, I was just thinking about like how Lint doesn't really have any purpose in life. Like everything else has some kind of purpose. A water bottle, you can drink water out of it. A charger, you can charge your laptop. A lamp lights up, it's got
Yeah.
purpose, but lint is just useless. So I kind of thought about the perspective of a character like that. And a lot of my films have these existential themes of like, why are we here? What is the meaning of life? How do we progress? So on and so forth. And so I thought, yeah, I just wanted to know the character's backstory. And also, I kind of wanted to placing Lint within that environment of intimacy. I also wanted to talk about like I guess every people when they watch it, they take away different things, but I was kind of hoping that they would garner that lint is a metaphor for those little feelings when you're being intimate with someone that you're kind of like it's in your head, in the back of your head, and you don't give voice to them. And so like you said, insecurities or
Mm.
things, trauma, that kind of stuff. So just
Anxieties, yeah.
anxieties, exactly, exactly. So that's kind of what I was thinking about. Yeah, yeah.
Mm. In
And then,
particular, the Jaws bathing suit, that was excellent.
the sorry.
The shark bathing suit, I really like that. Because that was like, had he been a human and understood culture, he would have got it at the fish at the beginning, the fish that squirts. He would have
Yeah,
got it, but he didn't. But
yeah,
that the bathing suit would have been the deal breaker. But obviously, he didn't understand any of it.
yeah.
He was like George of the Jungle or some alien, and that's what made it really funny because we understood the references. He
Mm,
didn't.
yes, yes. Did you notice that it wasn't just Jaws? There was a little Ariel at the
Yeah,
top.
yeah, I thought it was customized. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
really good. Yeah, and you
So
made
it
us
was
wait
all,
as well.
sorry?
You made us wait for it. You saw her leg,
Yeah.
and then I was like, oh, I know that poster.
No, I was kind of trying to hint towards the ending by having the Little Mermaid crossed with the Jaws. Yeah. And kind of like the where the Jaws was placed in the swimsuit was kind of like
Yeah, yeah, it was like literally man eater. Yeah,
yeah.
or that kind of yeah. I know it's very clever. Yeah, but it's the fact that by this point you know he's not getting it. He's not just not interested in her. He doesn't understand this wooing process. So yeah, that's really funny. Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.
Um, will you go back to animation? Are you going to still try and do the mix of live action? Are you doing more live action? What plans do you have going forward?
Yeah, I want to do both. So I'm doing two animations at the moment. One is a climate fiction story, and another one is a documentary. And then well, I just finished the BFI London Network, BFI Network London Labs for this kind of mythological horror live action short about
Mhm.
a biologist at the end of times tending to one of the last temperate rainforests in England. They're going extinct, and with climate change and like the world kind of falling apart, I kind of um, the idea of these temperate rainforests kind of dwindling intrigued me, and kind of I've basically created a script around that, and I was yeah, I'm working on it with the BFI Labs, and hopefully I'll get funding for it, and then I'll be able to
Mm.
make it. But yeah, because I've never done horror, and I've always been intrigued by that. And all of the films that I've done so far have been very either comedy or like fun colors, bright, cute. So I don't know how I would do in horror, but I'm eager to find out. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I'd be eager to find out because I suppose someone like Tim Burton, you would argue, does horror, but he has a certain whimsy and comedy about. So it'd be interesting to see if any of that shines through in your horror in a
Yeah,
positive light, I suppose, as well,
yeah,
or whether you just want to go pure scares. I don't know. It'd be nice.
yeah, it's interesting. I think even with the live actions, you can see that there is an animated quality to it, even with Lust House.
Oh,
It's very
absolutely.
animated overall. Yeah.
Absolutely. And when you watch one and then the other, because one's really dark
Mm.
and then Lusthouse is really bright. So It's like someone switched the light on. Yeah, you're right about the animated. Definitely very animated, but it does suit Korean cinema because Korean cinema it can be like that. They are very whimsical and fancy free, and certainly one of my favorite cultures of cinema. To be fair.
Right? Yeah, it's so
Um,
good. But they can also go really dark, like
oh
Old
yeah,
Boy. Old Boy
yeah,
was so messed
oh,
up.
yeah. Park Chan-wook's one of my favorites. Absolute
Yeah.
legend.
Yeah. So good. Burning is one of my favorites. It's like from my letterbox top four. I don't know if
Oh
you've seen
wow.
it, but
Yeah,
it's
I've seen it. Yeah, it was the best reviewed film at Cannes, and it didn't win anything. I
oh,
remember at Cannes Film Festival, yeah, everyone was really
wow.
astonished it didn't win the Palme d'Or because it was the best reviewed film.
Yeah, it's a really good one. It stays with you. Like it stays with me today, even though I've seen it. I saw it twice in 2018, and it's like there are certain moments in the film so well done.
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
lingers, doesn't it? It really lingers with you. I've got my final question before we go. I always ask about sort of the female filmmakers because it's for the festival. But I mean, do you have any challenges or like glory stories about being a woman in the industry?
Hmm.
Do you think it's changed recently? Do you feel a bit freer now? How do you feel as being a woman in this industry now? Do you have your own creative control, etc.?
I mean, I think we're living in a time where, you know, female filmmakers in the past haven't had as many opportunities as we do now, but I still feel like we are behind. So I recently released this article on Squiggly magazine. It's an animation magazine in the UK, and it's basically about how recently for the Women's Euros, the Lionesses won.
Mm.
Um, so during the whole when the campaigns were going on, so like I think um, the BBC released one, and a bunch of other TV channels and like Nike and all released campaigns around the lionesses. And there was this stop motion animation ad by BBC Creative, the in-house agency for BBC, and this production company that's called Blink. And the aim of the ad was to challenge the gender gap, which is apparently women footballers are 75% less known than male footballers.
Yeah.
But what I found interesting as I love the animation and I love the ad, but I was like, okay, let's see who directed this. Oh, a male director. Oh, who are the writers? Oh, both of them are male. Who are the cinematographers? Male. And then I was like, wait, let me look at the list of credits. And I realized it was only 25% of women that worked on it and 75% men. And all the HODs were men, barring one female producer. And I think there's a pattern in the industry that needs to be looked at where women are championed on screen, but behind the camera, um, there is a major lack of representation. And the thing that I think bothered me was the fact that this production company had specifically stop motion female animation directors that I personally know, and none of them were picked. So it just feels to me as tone deaf and something that needs, like, I feel like women are being kind of uh, siloed into like production or coordination jobs, but they're
Mm.
never given creative autonomy over a particular piece of work. And we don't get that many projects anyway. So when something as high profile as this women empowerment campaign comes and it's handed on a platter to a mostly male crew, it just feels like we're going backwards and it
Yeah.
just doesn't seem fair. Um, and then I called it out in that article and it went viral. Over 130,000 people over LinkedIn and Instagram saw it. Um, and then there was a bit of apprehension in me because as I was like posting it, I felt like, wow, I am a woman working in this industry. Will BBC Creative want to work with me after
Mm.
I've called them out?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Just to send me that. I'd love to read it. Anything like that will fascinated to read and share. But it sounds like you've made a difference there. And that's why I don't. I'm obviously I'm not a female. I'm a man. But
Yeah.
I run this festival. I don't do it for any profit. I don't get paid. Everything I pay for is for the festival and for conversations like this.
Yeah.
I don't care what people think of me or whether I think anti-discriminatory or whatever people say some stupid things. I ignore them. It's
Yeah.
for the females, because like you say, that word behind is the
Yeah.
big one. That you are behind. decades behind, and this is how I want to help you catch up,
Thank you
you
so
know,
much. I
and that's
appreciate
why
it.
I do it really, a platform and a conversation. So
Yeah, yeah. We need allies like yourself to like keep us pushing on and like you're supporting us. So I appreciate it, seriously.
yeah, it's been an absolute delight talking to you. I really enjoyed both your films. I'm glad I watched them back to back because they're almost never would never meet in real life, but yet they're sort of soulmates.
Oh,
And
thank
and
you.
that's what I love. So when you said you made them at the same time, that makes perfect sense. But yeah, really well done.
Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, looking forward to it.